So, a couple weeks ago, the Hollywood Reporter's editor-in-chief, Mayor Roshan, released an article claiming the title of being the first interview with now disgraced Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein from behind bars. It was the first interview that Harvey Weinstein has undertaken since he has been convicted of rape and sexual assault. And it was met with a lot of friction and questions and tension over why have the Hollywood Reporter decided to give him the space to be interviewed when he has long since been shamed and disgraced and pretty much removed from the public eye. Whether we like it or loathe it, Harvey Weinstein, both for his prodigious nature as a producer and also as a goldmine for someone who acted for the majority of his life in the public sphere and has done heinous things. He is a goldmine of information for how someone like that acts in public, that were allowed to happen both publicly and in private. He is a valuable resource that we should mine as much as possible. There is information there that we have to be able to read between the lines of what he is saying, so that when something like this potentially happens in the future, we can point it out, we can jump on it quicker than happened in this scenario, and get rid of the parasite as quickly as possible. But not interviewing him means that we don't learn anything from this. It means that we are just in the same sort of sphere that we were pre the Me Too movement and pre the Weinstein case, which is that we don't really think about the warning signs that someone like Weinstein exhibited. I don't think that, personally, Harvey Weinstein should never be interviewed again. I think we should interview him. That being said, you definitely need the right interviewers. You can't just send him in there with anyone, the fresh on the beat sort of reporter who it's their first year in the job. That's not the guy that you want on it. You want the person who is a hard-hitting reporter who has done plenty of interviews over the time and knows how to coddle them, how to cozy up to them, and how to get the most information out. And I have to say that I think that this interview is pretty good. I'm going to walk through this interview. We're going to get into a lot of the quotes, and we're going to invest some time into what can we glean from what Weinstein says. What does he admit to? What does he not admit to? What does he think of his legacy? Does he reflect very deeply on the fact that he's obviously done heinous shit? This is a very interesting interview. Let's get into it. To begin with, Harvey Weinstein, in my opinion, self-stylizes himself in this interview as a victim. He has numerous quotes where he says that he's dying here. He says he will be proven innocent. He concedes that he is loutish, pathetic, and even abusive in a lot of his past behavior, but insists that he was never a rapist, just an oversexed schmuck who made some stupid moves and accidentally launched a global social movement. He also goes on to say things such as he's forced into isolation at Rikers because other prisoners threaten him, asking for money, and he's constantly derided. He says that he wouldn't last long out there. Unfortunately, I think that, that's kind of the position that you put yourself in. You committed heinous crimes, you made life for other people terrible, and now it's come back to bite you in the arse. Prison is not meant to be a safe space. It is not meant to coddle you. He says it's incredible to have the life that I had and the things that I did for society and not have the leniency to deal with me in a kind of way. What an incredible feat of Hollywood arrogance. People talk routinely about the arrogance that is on show in Hollywood. Oh, they get on stage at the award shows and they talk about the environment, they talk about politics, they talk about war, they talk about gender politics, race politics, etc., etc. This, to me, is that entertainment industry arrogance at its most fundamental, which is that this man, who is very publicly guilty of heinous shit, still believes that despite all of that, he believes that he should be treated in a lenient manner because of what he has done for society. Because he admittedly came out with great pieces of art. He's delivered some of the best films of all time. So therefore, everything that he did behind the scenes that was covered up because of those great pieces of art should be treated with leniency. And that is why so many people hate this industry and hate Hollywood, because guys like this still exist. You've got guys like Barry Josephson, who is a Hollywood producer and was apparently a very good friend of Epstein. You got guys like that who were just sleazeballs, horrible guys. You got guys like this. And it is not just that his victim mentality and arrogance means that he thinks he should be treated with leniency. He also has this delusional belief that he will still prove his innocence and that he'll get out there. He says that he won his last appeal, despite the fact that he won that appeal on a prejudicial circumstance, not because they proved that he was actually innocent. It was because the judge fucked up that case. This victim mentality, mixed with his arrogance, means that despite the fact that he is in the position he is in, he still tries to be a power player, whilst also lamenting the loss of the power that he has. For example, in prison, he has attempted to teach courses on how books become movies. He says that no one was interested, but he is willing to try again. Isn't it impressive that even behind bars, someone as terrible as Harvey Weinstein will continue to hold on to their power as much as possible? And that is what is tantamount to rape. It is not about the pleasure that someone gets from it. They aren't routinely, most of them are not interested in pleasure. What they are interested in is the power it gives them. The sort of living life on the edge as a result of that means that they have to keep on to power as much as possible. They can never let go of it, because if they let go of it and others around them smell that, they will be outed for what it is that they really are, which is a manipulator, an assaulter, an abuser, and therefore, even behind bars, he must attempt to hold on to his power so that he can convince those around him, oh no, I didn't do the things that they say I did. And it's necessary, as a result, for him to have classes such as he's suggesting. He does mention the founder of MTV, Tom Freston, by name, and quotes Tom Freston's book where he says that he knew Harvey Weinstein was a predator and that Freston was a friend for many years, and that because he now thinks of him that way, it breaks his heart. What the reality of the situation is that most people that he loved and had power over is now gone and is no longer afraid of him, is the reality. And that book, for him, was a window into how much he has lost. It's interesting when he talks about films such as The Ballad of Wallace Island, that he says if he was around, he wishes he could have distributed it. With quotes like this, it suggests that to him, prison is almost a minor inconvenience, which is interesting because on the other hand, he says that he's dying there, he says that he's threatened, he's in isolation, so on and so forth. Seemingly what he is attempting to do is to garner sympathy by saying that he's dying here, he's threatened, he's in isolation. On the other hand, what he is attempting to also do is to project this illusion of being a power player still in Hollywood from behind bars by insisting that if he had any say in it, he would distribute films such as The Ballad of Wallace Island. Obviously, we know the truth, which is that he has no power anymore in this industry and that he never will again. It probably also does not help the situation when Hollywood is seemingly trying to keep him at as long of an arm's distance as possible, that some insiders apparently within the industry continue to contact him, as well as college students who apparently send him scripts of their work. If you're a college student or a producer contacting him, I think it is of the utmost importance that you stop doing so immediately. This is your career on the line. He goes on to say that other people from within Hollywood still talk to him, but he won't say who it is. Immediately after this, there is a picture of Quentin Tarantino and Weinstein at a premiere together. The article never acknowledges this, but that, in my opinion, is enough for Mayor Roshan to tell you who he believes is still in contact with him. Whilst I don't have any actual proof of it, there is enough to speculate here. And also, I will just say that Tarantino is still a piece of shit, in my opinion. I think that he knew enough about Weinstein that he could have stopped him far sooner than when he actually came out and said he was in the wrong for it. I also think that the Israel stuff is pretty bad. I don't like the way that he talks about other people. Finally, I want to talk about what I see as just being a critical lack of self-awareness. Of course, Weinstein has that. It's no surprise to anyone. But specifically around his appeal that he won, as well as the cases that he lost, and also what he did to derail some careers in Hollywood, there is a lot of quotes in here where you can sense that Weinstein just has no seeming ability to understand what it is that he actually did wrong. Any moment where he suggests that he maybe understands how he overstepped the bounds, to say the least, kind of just puts any of that to bed and just means that none of it is actually relevant. To start with, he says that the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein are awful and that they're nothing at all like his. And it's real sort of rat behavior, him saying this, because it suggests that he will literally hang any other person as long as it means that it gets him out of prison, and is actually dangerous for him to do it in prison. Other than this, he goes on to say that he lost the Miriam Haley case, glosses over that, and then goes on to say, but I was not guilty on Kaya Sokola, who said I raped her. So the Miriam Haley case, he was convicted of rape. He was convicted of forcibly performing oral sex on her. But Weinstein just talks about it like it's a minor charge. Oh, I lost Miriam Haley, move on. Oh, I was not guilty on Kaya Sokola, where Weinstein was acquitted because the private diaries of Sokola were used as evidence and suggested that she didn't regard Weinstein as an abuser and rapist. Sokola seemingly contradicts herself, and Weinstein places more emphasis on this, using it to cast doubt on the other cases. Now, I'm not really here to pass judgment on Sokola. She continues to be a public figure as a result of this case. I'm not really sure that that's correct and fair. I think that we should probably put more emphasis on other victims if they want it, such as Miriam Haley, who has been proved correct and that she wasn't lying. But I'm not really here to tell you what Sokola should or shouldn't do. It's her life at the end of the day. In another case, the case of Ambra Gutierrez, who was an Italian model, she was raped by Weinstein in 2015. The DA in New York refused charges even after she wore a wire, where you can basically hear Weinstein admitting to what he did.
Yesterday was a kind of aggressive for me. I need to know a person to be touched.
I won't do a thing.
I don't
Do a thing, please. I swear I won't. Just sit with me. Don't embarrass me in the hotel. I'm here all the time.
I
Sit
know,
with me.
but
I
I don't
promise.
want to.
My
Why
jacket,
yesterday
you
you touched my breast?
can go. Oh, please, I'm sorry. Just come on. I'm used to that.
But
Come on.
are you used
Please.
to that?
Yes, come in.
No, but I'm not used to
I
that.
won't do it again. Come on. Sit here.
I know, but yesterday was too
The guy
much
is
for me.
coming. I will never do another thing to you. 5 minutes. Don't ruin your friendship with me for 5 minutes.
He still, in the interview, regards it as him trying to be seductive, saying he went too far, it was embarrassing and pathetic, but he never touched her. And similarly, he says he's not deranged, but the threat of Harvey was enough, maybe more than enough, but he never blackballed anyone. This quote, to me, is almost like the Dennis quote from It's Always Sunny, where he says that it's the implication of the situation.
Think about it. She's out in the middle of nowhere with some dude she barely knows. You know, she looks around her. What does she see? Nothing but open ocean. There's nowhere for me to run. What am I going to do? Say no?
That's crazy for an in real life human being to admit to. This isn't an It's Always Sunny character. This is a real man admitting, well, I had sex with people because they knew that the threat of me was enough. And even this bit of him saying he never blackballed anyone isn't true. Actress Mira Sorvino confirmed that she was blackballed by Weinstein, and even Peter Jackson, the Lord of the Rings director, confirmed it as well. Finally, he goes on to say that, putting his own story aside, he still thinks that the Me Too movement could be good, because if women were getting hurt or exploited, then it's a good thing that this movement has allowed them to have more of a voice. And this is where I think Mayor Rashan, the interviewer, does an excellent job, because without realizing it, he gets Weinstein to admit that his behavior deserved to be punished. I think that what I really take away from this interview is the attempt to maintain one's grip on power and the ability to have no self-awareness, even when it is blatantly obvious to everyone else that you were in the wrong. Those are two very important things, I think, to emphasize about someone like this. That it's not about pleasure seeking, it is about power seeking. That is what he cared about. That is what he still cares about. And in order to seek that power, he maintains a lack of self-awareness, because it is only through that he can convince others that his power is correct, and it is correct to give him power. But that's all I have today. If you like this video, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting. I will see you in the next video.